Proud of the team. All of these games had a different, unique feel and personality to them. Penn's a good team, and they're scrappy, they're physical. We saw a variety of arms, and today there were some guys, even some young guys on their pitching staff that I thought threw the ball really well. Mendez was exceptional. Thought he had all 4 pitches in play, and I thought all 4 of the pitches were above average. You saw him flash some velocity when he needed it. He was as good as I've seen him, whether it's practice, any of the games this year. I thought he was sharp, and in complete control of what he was doing. The relievers, Mason Martinez was better by the end of it, and we kind of had a 40-45 pitch cap on him. But I thought pitches 35 to 45 were better than pitches 1 to 5. And you see the dynamic fastball that has some climb, and the slider's good. It just was unfortunate that 2 of the 3 innings, like, he found himself with traffic right out of the gate. He walked the first guy, and that will not happen again, but he's got to learn when he comes in there. We have to deliver it from pitch 1 when you come out of that bullpen. I mean, it is the bullpen. It is like a rodeo. You're trying to stay on that thing right out of the gate, and by the end of it, he was really good. Holt, I saw him spin the breaking ball. That was better. I know it wasn't what we needed, but it was much better. I thought his breaking ball was what we saw last year. He didn't quite have complete command of the fastball, but it was close, and he could have probably finished that game. But we need to see Ben Barrett, and that is electric stuff. He's still got to learn how to use the fastball a little bit more in the bottom part of the zone. But when you're throwing an 87, 88 mile an hour slider with that kind of torque and velocity, that takes you a long way. And it was nice, the starting pitching and then the way that finished. I thought that summed up today's game. Offensively, Gage continues to find ways on base for us, and I think the base hit he had off the lefty on the breaking ball that he shot in the left center field, I thought that was a key moment. We made a tactical base running mistake there, and I thought that inning had a chance to be an inning that we could push the game open a little bit, and we snuffed that out, self-inflicted. But the guys responded. Lodice's home run was big, and all in all, well-played game. There were moments offensively I wish, you had to have some 2-out hitting that didn't quite come through to open it up. But when you pitch it like that and you play defense again, the L8, Max lays out, catches the ball in the gap, a couple nice 6-3s, the 4-6-3 double play, a couple nice plays by Fisher at third base. Jackson, key block. I think we threw a runner out at second on a ball off the wall that was beautifully played. And you're just trying to gobble up outs, and I thought we did a nice job of that the whole day.
Competition-wise, was it nice to kind of play a little bit of a grinded-out game, or you're happy the guys were able to play a game like that?
Yeah, I want to see how guys respond, and I think more than anything, the guys that you're bringing in the leverage spots out of the bullpen, like, what does it feel like? What does it look like? How quickly do they get to their A stuff? And we're learning, we team-wise, not necessarily me, but you have to bring it from pitch 1 when you come out of that bullpen. And until you're in a game like that, you may not quite feel the necessity or the pressure to execute your A stuff from pitch 1, because a lot of the games are going to be like that. They're going to be very tight. There's going to be traffic. So there's no wiggle room. So it does help to play games like that. And you learn more about your personnel as you go through those.
It seemed like every time we looked up at the Jumbotron, there was another ball hit 105 miles an hour right out of the defender. Is it frustrating for the guys? How do you evaluate that offensively when guys are making hard contact, but it's just going, right at the defense?
It's tough on them. It really is, because when you are seeing the 105s and the 108s and the 112s, I saw back-to-back 112s. I don't think I've seen that. I mean, I don't comb every one of the reports to look at the exit velos. But now that all of that's on the board, it gets my attention a little bit more. And pitch selection has to be pretty good, because you're not going to hit pitches well out of the zone that hard. And then the physicality has to be there to do it, because not everybody's able to actually do it. And your swing has to be in order. So all 3 of those things are aligned when you see it. And that's what makes the game tough. Sometimes all of that still doesn't give you the result, and that's what makes the sport unique. So I told Jackson and Max, they're frustrated, and it will even out. and it may not be as quickly as you would hope when you're going through it as a hitter, but staying the course and staying with that process and that type of an approach that gives you a chance to deliver that kind of exit velocity, that's going to win for you in the long haul.
Do you feel like in some of those 2-out situations, guys were maybe pressing a little bit, trying to make something happen?
Yeah, we waved at some pitches that looked like they were off the plate. Some of our right-handed hitters later in the back end of that game, I remember a couple of those instances, and yes, that's exactly what it is. Like you're trying to be the one to answer and solidify like another run, an extension of a lead. And I think the biggest thing offensively, we have talked about this in here, is guys have to be comfortable with what they're doing and not trying to do more than they're capable of. And that situation would highlight that feeling like we're trying to do a little bit too much at times, and that takes you out of the zone. And you know, you do tip your hat to them. They're pitching, you know, they're exploiting some of the things that we see our own guys do. Like if you're going to expand away, well, then expand away and let them try to get themselves out. So we have to have a boundary and a barrier that hopefully you recognize the pitch enough and you do have an emergency break that you pull to leave some of that stuff alone and try to get a better pitch, even if it is 2 strikes. Some of those pitches are not close to the zone.
I know the season's still a little young, but 7 games in, you've held the opponent to 3 or less runs in all 7 games. How nice is it across the board that, I mean, you thought Rubber Bench would be a strength of the team, and that's playing out?
It is playing out, and it needs to continue. And there's guys on the mound. I'm just going to be honest. There's guys we have to see function in this setting. And you know, our starting pitchers have done a nice job of lengthening this out, and it then shrinks the back end. So we're still learning, but that's a great trait, and it needs to be our trait. The athleticism behind the pitching keeps you in check, and when you're allowing runs at that minimum type of rate, then you should find yourself in the ball games. We have to be more consistent offensively, and I did see things this weekend on all sides of it that concerned me, not just offensively, but there were things we didn't execute well enough on the mound. There were some moments defensively where it wasn't clean and one thing at a time defense to make sure you're securing the ball. But I do like what I see. Like it's a trend in the right direction in terms of what I hoped I'd see and what we're seeing play out. Yeah.
You mentioned last week wanting to get more quality at bats. After this week, how do you assess that improvement and where we need to go next?
I think we probably moved the needle forward a little bit. It's still not fully engaged, complete at bats. Like the immersion and pitch selection and how dialed in you are every pitch of the at bat is the whole key to this. And then as some of these younger guys or players that haven't experienced this stage, so to speak, you know, I think the pitch recognition and lack of expanding and making sure you're ready to hit what you want to hit and trying to lay off some of the other stuff. It's a work in progress right now. I can't say that I love what I'm seeing out of the at-bats. I do think it has moved forward a little bit. I think all in all, we've run the bases fairly well and stolen some bases. Even Carnes today, I would doubt that that's something he's ever done. Well, he did it, and you know, McCulley's ball, if that thing's a foot in either direction, that's a big run and another hit for him. But all in all, it's still not quite calibrated to the point of feeling like you're just quality AB, quality AB, quality AB. The strikeouts will happen from time to time. It's inevitable. But just the overall quality of things, probably not quite where we want it to be yet. But then if some of these balls we're talking about that are hit so hard as you can hit a ball, with not a lot to show for it, you know, if a couple of those are different, how do some of these innings look and feel, and what is the discussion of the score of the game when you come in here afterwards? So it's a tricky thing to measure, but I would say that it's not quite where we need it.
You were able to get Jackson behind the plate today for the first time this season. Just how have you seen him develop as a defender since last year?
I think all of our catchers have moved along. Brad, the stuff he does in the cage with them, we have a variety of pitching machines. He uses them in all kinds of different ways. He sits them up in the bleachers and works downhill stuff. He's just grown and figured out the receiving, blocking, and throwing, and that's the order. You're going to receive 100 10 to 125 pitches if you're catching a complete game like that. You're going to block 5 or 6, you're going to throw a couple, and then you're going to have some ABs. But it starts with the receiving, and then you look at the blocking and the chances to throw. He's gotten better at all of it. And he was beat up, and I'm almost protecting him from himself at times. These guys, they want to be out there, and I think we have a responsibility to make sure they're not thrust into it because of eagerness when they still may be a little banged up. And I thought he looked better than last year, and I'm glad we gave him a chance to kind of get freshened up, and then he went and got him. But all phases of the game have gotten better, and he's better offensively. We can all look at the stats and see whatever the batting average is. I couldn't even tell you. I know he's not happy about it. It's not what he wants it to be. But even I think the at-bats have been better.
You go Evan again on Tuesday or still TV?
Evan.